Welcome back, everybody, to Ein Sof Learning. This week's Torah portion is Chayei Sarah, the life of Sarah. Sarah is the wife of Abraham. Sarah dies at the age 127 and is buried in the Machpelah cave in Hebron, which Abraham purchases from Ephron the Hittite for 400 shekels of silver. Abraham's servant Eliezer is sent, laden with gifts, to Haran to find a wife for Isaac. At the village well, Eliezer asks God for a sign. When the maidens come to the well, he will ask for some water to drink. The woman who will offer to give his camels to drink as well shall be the one destined for his master's son. Rebekah, the daughter of Abraham's nephew, Bethuel, appears at the well and passes the test. Eliezer is invited to their home, where he repeats the story of the day's events. Rebekah returns with Eliezer to the land of Canaan, where they encounter Isaac praying in the field. Isaac marries Rebekah, loves her, and is comforted over the loss of his mother. Abraham takes a new wife, Keturah, which is really Hagar, and fathers 6 additional sons. But Isaac is designated as his only heir. Abraham dies at the age 175 and is buried beside Sarah by his 2 eldest sons, Isaac and Ishmael. So a lot of major events are happening in this week's Parsha. What I'm going to do here today is give you a Kabbalistic interpretation on the Parsha as it relates to current events. Because we have to make it relevant. Otherwise, it's a good history book, but what does that have to do with me right now? So let's go to the book of Genesis, chapter 23, verse 1, which is really the first pasuk of this parsha. Sarah's lifetime was 127. The years of Sarah's life were all equally good. So we all know the famous commentary by Rashi that why does the Torah split up Sarah's age into 3 parts? 100, 20, and 7. And Rashi explains famously that when she was 20, she was as beautiful as a 7-year-old. And when she was 100, she was as pure in terms of sin as a 20-year-old. What does that mean? Because 20-year-olds are not liable to sin by the heavenly court. They are liable to the sins by the court down here, but not by the court in heaven. For that reason, a 20-year-old is actually clean, spiritually speaking, from sin. No matter what it is that he may have done, from a spiritual point of view, the Beit Din Shamayim, the house of judgment above in the heavenly realms, don't have the right to actually judge that person until they become 20 years and 1 day old. At that moment, they now become liable in the spiritual worlds as well. So when she was 100 years old, she was as pure as a 20-year-old. That means she was very pure. She was a very holy individual. We're talking here about the wife of Abraham. We know Sarah, her name is spelled Sin Resh He, which gets you a gematria of 505. Sarah, she used to be called Sarai, Sin Resh Yud. And then when Abraham finished the tikkun of sacrificing Isaac, which was really a test, then Abraham he went from Avram to Avraham, and a letter Hey got added to his name, and the name of Sarai got changed to Sarah, from a Yud to a Hey. So why did Sarah's name change from Sarai with a Yud to Sarah with a Hey? And then Abraham went from Avram to Abraham with a Hey, because that Yud of Sarai got split in half to 2 Heys, 2 5s. 1 Hey to Sarah, and 1 Hey to Avraham. So that's why Sarai, her Yud, got split equally among herself and Abraham once the binding of Isaac was finalized. Now, according to the Arizal in Likutei Torah, the breakdown of 100, 20, and 7 shows perfection in intellect, emotions, and actions. These are the 3 parts of a person's kli: the mind, the heart, and the body. The 3 tiers of the vessel of a person that is capable of receiving the light of the Shekhinah within itself. That's the Beit HaMikdash. You want to know where's the third Beit HaMikdash? You have to build it in yourself first in order for us to be able to eventually reveal the collective Beit HaMikdash, which is going to be in the city of Jerusalem. Hopefully we'll be able to see it in our days, the coming of Mashiach. But first you have to learn to bring Mashiach for yourself. And that's what Kabbalah is coming to teach us. How to prepare yourself to be able to withstand the influx of divine light which will become available in the Messianic era. If you can bring it for yourself now, you can help others wake up before they have to, God forbid, struggle more than they already are before waking up to the reality that they actually need to take this seriously. A lot of people treat this world like they're here on vacation. This is not a vacation. This is a hallway. We're on our way to the world to come. So you're here to collect as many sparks and build as big of a vessel as you can before your time here is up. And whenever your time here is up, then that's the end of your construction. There's no more constructing the Kli. The moment you pass away, it's done. Whether or not you did your tikkun, that is a different question. Did you fulfill your purpose? That's a different question. But the point is that once you're not in this physical world anymore, there's no other way to build the vessel. So that's why God created a system called reincarnation. You can come back through Gilgul to continue building the vessel that you neglected to fulfill in the previous incarnations. We don't want to come back. We want to fulfill our mission so that way we can help from above. Ideally, while you're still down here, be as great an example as you can so you can help others while you're here as well. So that way it's not just you helping from above. No, you can help from within Mitzrayim itself. Within Egypt. Because we are right now within Egypt. Physical world. You're in a physical body. According to Kabbalah, that's Mitzrayim. So you are right now in Mitzrayim. And that's the difference. It's not a story about the past. It's a lesson for the moment. So the relevance of this is that we're living in a world. We seek balance. We seek peace. And this reminds us to refine every aspect of our lives to align with the divine will. If we comply with the divine will, then our life can be one of peace, can be one of unity, can be one of mercy and compassion. But then, your mission is not just for yourself. It's to go out and be that example for others to be able to come to this understanding as well. But you cannot help others in the way that you could if you would first fix yourself. To first bring the Shekhinah within your own temple first, and then teach others, or along the way, you should also be teaching others how they should build their Beit HaMikdash as well. But this is an individual work that each person has to do for themselves. Another major event that happens this week is that Abraham purchases the grave site where he's going to end up burying Sarah. And ultimately, this same piece of land becomes the grave site for Abraham and Isaac and Jacob and Rivka and Leah and Adam and Eve. It happens to be that Adam and Eve were actually buried in that location, which is why Abraham wanted to buy it from the Hittites in the first place. He knew what this land really was worth. And the people that were living in that area at that time wanted to help Abraham. So they sold it to him for 400 shekels of silver, which means that, well, you have the very first proof in the Torah that the land of Israel was rightfully, obtained by Abraham. But what does this highlight? First of all, let's look at the word Machpelah. That's the name of the cave. Machpelah literally means to double. So what does this symbolize? We're going to see it right now that this cave is not a regular cave. I know it's going to sound a little bit crazy to some people, but it's actually a portal. The cave of Machpelah is a merging of two worlds, meaning the lower world and the upper world, the physical and the spiritual. And we can talk about this another time. That's not the point of this week's class, of what a portal is, because there are many portals, whether they be portals in time, portals in space, portals through your mind, access points through which you could reach upper worlds or higher levels of consciousness or different frequencies, higher realities to perceive more than what you're capable of while you're in the constricted mode of consciousness. We call them windows in time, windows into your mind. What's a dream? A dream is really a window into your inner world. It could tell you a whole lot about what's going on within your subconscious mind. It's a window to your deeper levels of consciousness. Not necessarily true, but it could be mixed truth and falsehood. But nevertheless, it's a portal to see what's happening within you. Whether it be dark thoughts, desires, temptations, fears, or, Bezrat Hashem, joys, right? Smiles, laughter, learning Torah, and holy dreams, which are always enjoyable to have. For those of you who remember your dreams often, you know that there's some really bad dreams, and then there's also some really good dreams, and then there's the one in between. But we remember the ones that are most impactful. Generally speaking, the ones that are very extreme, whether they be for the better or for the worse. So, what's the symbolism of this cave? Why is Abraham buying this cave? It's called Machpelah. It's called to double. Because again, it's the merging of two worlds. And also, not to mention that there are many different couples that are buried in that space. Adam and Eve, we said, Abraham, Sarah, Rivka and Yitzchak, and Yaakov and Leah. Rachel is actually buried somewhere else. She doesn't end up getting buried in that location. Abraham's negotiation is also a very important thing to dissect, because he deliberately but respectfully negotiates with the people that are selling that plot of land to him, demonstrating the power of Malchut in elevating the mundane into holiness. Whenever we use our mouth to actually bring us to doing a mitzvah, we use speech, the power of our words, to engage in a mitzvah, a holy act. We're actually sanctifying the mundane. We are engaging in purifying or elevating the mundane aspects of life, like speech. Speech could be used for good or it could be used for bad. Depends on how you use it. You can use your speech to speak gossip against someone. You can use your speech to slander or to curse, God forbid, blaspheme. You could use it to spread falsehoods. Or you could use it to spread truth, to spread goodness, to spread chesed, to spread good words, comforting words, encouraging words, words of Torah, words of wisdom. To make prayers. When you make your tefillah, you use speech. Two completely different functions. But also in the mundane aspects, there exists a potential for holiness as well. Negotiating for a property. Why do you want that property? What's the property for? Is it for a mitzvah? Is the intention behind it to give joy to God by serving Him through purchasing this property and then perhaps constructing a synagogue or constructing a center that people can come together and learn Kabbalah together? Right? So what's Abraham doing here? He's purchasing his property for what? To bury Sarah. The Hashem Shemaim. And so for that reason, the act of him actually negotiating, and by the way, he doesn't actually negotiate. He just says that he wants to pay full price, while the person who wanted to give it to him said, no, I want to give it to you for free. That was the negotiation. You thought I was talking about Abraham was trying to get a cheaper price. No. Abraham was trying to get a more expensive price. Abraham said, I want to pay the full price for this land, whatever it's worth, not a penny less. And the person kept insisting, albeit he was not sincere in his insisting. For those of you who are Persian, you know about tarof. He was only doing tarof. Tarof means he was ingenuinely offering to give him the land for free. But it wasn't a sincere gift that he wanted to give him. He really wanted him to pay. And Abraham knew that. That's why he said, no, don't give it to me for free. I want it for the full price. So he ended up paying the full price, which was the 400 shekels. And there you go. Even through negotiating in that regard, That was a holy act. Next, Eliezer's mission as the fusion of divine and human effort. Eliezer is Abraham's servant. Abraham sends Eliezer out on a journey, on a mission, to find a wife for Isaac. And he actually relies on divine signs while acting with human initiative in order to find the wife of Isaac. So he was very spiritually in tune. And he made a tefillah, he made a request from Hashem that the next woman that comes and draws water from this well and feeds him and his donkey, let her be the one that's fit for Isaac. And tada, Hashem responded. A woman came, drew water from the well. The Midrash says the water actually went into her bucket on its own. A miracle happened. But it wasn't enough that a miracle happened. No. He wanted that this woman be a woman of chesed, to draw water not just for him, but also for his camel. And that's what she did. So that's how Eliezer knew that she was the right one for Isaac. But let's understand that there's chokhmah and bina. Chokhmah and bina is wisdom and understanding. This is the human initiative with relying on divine signs that is necessary in order to fulfill the divine will. Chokhmah represents the divine insight that comes from above, while bina represents your initiative in understanding that insight. The insight comes from above. You don't have to work for it. That's called chokhmah. The thoughts, they appear in your mind. But bina is where your free will lies. Are you going to contemplate this thought? Are you going to open up this thought? Or rather, are you going to push it back? You're going to say, not for now. Either because you don't have the time or it's not the right space to fulfill that thought, or because it's a negative thought and therefore you have to restrict temptation and say, I'll deal with you, and whenever you come again, I'm going to send you back again. And you come back again, I'm going to send you back again. You have to be able to conquer your Yetzer Hara in that regard as well. How do you do this? It's through the masach, the power of the screen, which is above your mind, really. You have to be able to have that free will, that willpower, self-control, to decide which thoughts to allow to enter your mind and which thoughts are not allowed. Which types of light you allow to enter into your vessel and which types of light you push back. That's the job of the masach, the screen, which is above your mind that you have to use to filter out the good from the bad. It's like a border in a country. You don't have a strong border, you better believe that the good and the bad is going to become mixed. And God forbid, the country can explode from within. Same thing with a cell. You don't have a strong cell membrane, God forbid, the wrong things are going to enter the cell and corrupt the nucleus, and the whole cell will die. Same thing happens with a person in regards to his self-control, for what types of thoughts he allows to enter his mind. That could, God forbid, corrupt the person internally as well. Not to mention that the thoughts actually have a big impact on the immune system. So this is biologically true as well. Your immune system depends on a healthy mind. So what does this teach? That we have to harmonize chokhmah and bina. We have to harmonize the raw insight that comes from above with our own initiative, our own human effort to understand that insight. That means we have to harmonize faith and action. Emunah and ma'aseh. It's not enough to just believe in God. It's not enough to just have faith. I want to see what you do. It's nice that you have faith. But are you certain enough to actually act what you preach, to actually do what you say? That's the best way to actually gauge your authenticity in the faith to begin with. You claim to have faith. That's beautiful. What do you do? How do you live? Let me see your character traits. And that's the best indicator of an integrated person who is authentic in their faith, because their internal and external expressions are aligned. No cognitive dissonance. Their values and their behaviors are in line. A few other details that happen this week is that Abraham dies. We already said that Sarah dies. Isaac gets married. And we're seeing the transition from one generation to the next generation. That's, in a nutshell, summarize this all into one small sentence. This parsha is about the transition from the generation of Abraham to the generation of Yitzchak. And next week we're going to see how the events unfold, because Abraham actually passes away in this week's parsha, and Isaac is now going to be doing his own tests. We're going to see next week what that entails. But so thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed, then please share it, like it, and subscribe to the channel for more content like this. And I'll see you in the next video. Hey everybody, thanks for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't be afraid to share this video with your loved ones, as we know that we are trying to reach as many souls as we possibly can with the wisdom of the Torah, specifically its inner dimensions called Kabbalah, which is the mystical secrets that are contained within God's holy Torah. And I invite you to join me on this effort to spreading this wisdom to the four corners of the world, so we can prepare for what we've all been waiting for, the final redemption, where Israel will be redeemed along with the righteous Gentiles.